W.org. We're talking wall-to-wall recruiting today, and you can call us up at 693-1150, or you can text at 229-1939. Gabe Bach with you, Bryce Jones to my immediate right, TexAgs recruiting analyst, and we're doing a lot of interviews. We've got a conversation room on our main set here. We got a little Lucci's Lounge going on, Lucci's chair, and a couple of couches where Billy Lucci standing by, along with former Texas A&M offensive lineman Steve McKinney and former Texas A&M corner safety, I believe is the way it went. And he did the exact same thing for 4 years in the National Football League, playing everywhere in the secondary. Jordan Pugh, Demontre Moore scheduled to appear in the 10 o'clock hour, and we've got some very special guests joining us throughout the remainder of this program. And Bryce, we'll go right out to the hotline and visit with one of those right now. One of the newest signees for Texas A&M, guy who had an amazing senior year, a state champion out of Ennis, defensive end James Lockhart joins us right now on the Mac Resource Computers hotline. James, congratulations. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We couldn't be better. Give us your overall feeling right now and your excitement to be an Aggie officially now, James.
Man, I am so ecstatic. I'm so ecstatic. This is the best decision I've made in my life. Each time I go to College Station, it just, it continues to grow on me. And like I said, this is the best decision of my life. And I really wish I enrolled early.
James, I've heard that a lot from you and a lot of other guys. You get some of your buddies that get in college and they tell you how it is, and you wish you were there. But James, you were through this whole process. You committed for a long time with the DC change. You told me, like, hey, my word is my bond. I trust in Coach Sumlin. How much do you feel like you trusting in Coach Sumlin paid off when he hired John Chavis?
Oh man, it paid off extremely. When I met Mark Snyder. I really liked him, to be honest. I mean, very unfortunate what happened, but I really did have a genuine respect for Mark Snyder, and he had a genuine respect for me. We talked all the time, but when he was let go, that didn't change my decision at all. It actually kind of made my ears perk up, I guess you could say, because hey, we're physically a defensive coordinator that's even better than him. So what else could happen? And then, when I found out Coach Chavis, took the job, I was just ecstatic. I couldn't believe, to bring this LSU, type style defense to Aggie land. So that was, very, very overwhelming. Coach Chavis, he's a great guy. I've talked to him a lot. Here recently since the hire, and I feel I'm in great hands.
Well, and this is Billy Lucci with TexAgs.com. James, great to have you on. Exciting day for you. What an exciting year. Started off with a wild recruitment in terms of you were recruited by virtually everybody in the country. And eventually chose between A&M and Alabama. And you know everything about that Alabama defense. I could tell you were very conscientious through your recruitment, studied up a lot. When you look at this D-line that's starting to be assembled here at A&M with yourself and potentially another addition here shortly, when you look at that group in its entirety, do you feel like this Texas A&M defense under the guy you just talked about, John Chavis, is not that far away from putting a team on the field that can dominate opposing lines of scrimmage like Alabama does?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. I think we're right. We're honestly right there. This may be a very, very bold statement coming from an 18-year-old that hasn't even put a foot on practice, on the field yet. So I think, we're going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with. We're very, very young. In my opinion, we're very, very young. In my opinion, right now, our two best defensive linemen that we have is Deshaun Hall and Miles Garrett. And, with the addition of me and hopefully and possibly Dalen Mack, that'll be definitely a force to be reckoned with. Also, a lot of people, they don't mention Kiki Kingsley, but I've seen him in person. Yeah, I've seen him play, and he's definitely a beast up front. So with those additions being said, boom, we got two defensive tackles that can come in and play right now. We're definitely for sure that can get into the rotation. And then, and I'm not trying to brag or not, but, we got James Lockhart to come in to help with the pass rush.
Yeah.
So, definitely I feel like, I could come in and contribute early. Like I said, this may be very bold, and, I don't want people,
No, we like bold around here.
I don't want ads across the country to, think, this kid's very, very, cocky. I mean, I know I'm going to have to earn my spot on the field. I'm going to have to earn my respect. But just know James Lockhart's intentions not to come in his freshman year and sit on the bench. My intentions are to come in to play, make an impact, and strive and to continue to get better as an athlete on and off the field, and also help contribute to my team to win a national championship.
Wow. Best we're gonna end up printing that answer. I hope you know, because that was a great answer. James, I'm sitting here, and I know they've got a question or two for you. I'm sitting here with two former A&M football players that enjoyed nice NFL careers. One who's still in the middle of his, and they didn't get there for lack of confidence. I can assure you of that. So don't feel bad about coming in with high expectation for yourself and the defense. Guys, do y'all have any questions? I'm with Steve McKinney and Jordan Pugh.
Well, Jordan Pugh, congratulations, James. But I say, you know the style of defense that Chavis wants to play. So you in particular, what are you going to bring to that defense, along with Myles Garrett?
Definitely, and I'm going to bring a sense of urgency for sure. The style plays football. I like to swarm to the ball. I don't like to take plays off. I really don't think any athlete in the country likes to take plays off. I'm going to play a sense of urgency. I'm going to bring, some type of enthusiasm to the table. I'm going to be quick off the ball. I'm going to defeat blocks and make big plays when needed.
James, Steve McKinney here. I wanted to ask you.
That means he's getting more friends. That's the alert. Means James Lockhart's getting more friends. Go ahead, Steve, and then we'll close it out with James.
James, first of all, I just want to say I love your attitude. I cannot wait to see you on Kyle Field. How important is it to you in your mind to bring back the wrecking crew? Because that's what A&M's been starving for.
Man, it's crazy. To be honest, and this may sound kind of bad, but, last night I was watching the Wrecking Crew, actually watching live tape, of the Wrecking Crew for at least a good hour and a half yesterday, just watching them. And my God, the way they swarm to the ball, the way they defeat. Well, I'm just talking about everybody. You see backside corners, backside safeties just running and jumping on the pile. And if we bring that type of just that effort to the table, I mean, I don't really think there's going to be a opposing offense in the SEC that can honestly stop us. But I mean, we have a lot to work on and a lot to grow. I mean, I haven't even stepped on field yet, so I got to prove to my future teammates, that hey, I'm here to play, and I'm not here to ride the bench. I'm here to win a national championship. I'm here to work. I'm here for all these great things. So I still have to prove to myself, not only to my teammates and my coaching staff, but I still have to prove to College Station as well. So I got a lot to work on, and after I won state, I've been getting in the weight room, and I've been running. So I mean, I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. I just know when I get there, I have to show up and show out.
James, I think you made a lot of fans here today on the radio, including some of these NFL guys that got big smiles on their faces. So, James, hey, man, it was a lot of fun covering you in the recruiting process. All the luck, and I appreciate you coming on today, brother.
Thank you. God bless. Howdy.
Howdy and gig 'em. Boy, you can't beat that right there, guys.
Love that.
I think a lot of people just found themselves
like
a new favorite recruit on the defensive side of the ball. And a guy, too, what are some of these themes, Billy? We talked about this with the DBs. He's one of those guys that when he committed was more than rock solid, was doing his part. While he was getting better on the field, he was becoming a better and better Bryce, we got more. He was becoming a better and better recruiter for Texas A&M.
Sorry, we got Chris Boyd. He has delayed his announcement, is on the phone as we speak. So Chris Boyd, who knows what's going to happen, but he has delayed his announcement on the phone.
Does this surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Signing day drama.
Yeah,
exactly.
We needed that. I'm sorry, Gig.
That's
Luke saw
great.
it in my face.
It's been uneventful with Bryce just kind of popping in as the Grim Reaper a couple times already.
I can't help where they signed.
We needed some drama, one way or the other. Now we got it.
That's outstanding. Now, speaking of this, too, and A quick thought from Steve I'd like to get, or we can just take a break. It's your call. But why don't we take a break and come back, because Trevor Elbert's now in. So that's
Perfect.
another offensive lineman. Trevor Elbert is now completely in. So now the offensive line class is completely signed, sealed, and delivered. He's an offensive lineman from Rockwall Heath, 6'5", 290, number 18 in Lucci's 44, an Army All-American, and number 226 in the ESPN 300. So just a few names left before they sign on the dotted line, and a Chris Boyd delay. The drama shouldn't surprise anybody. Got to love that on National Signing Day. There you go. A little bittersweet. By request, former Texas A&M offensive lineman Steve McKinney coming in strong right there. Yeah, we're taking your requests. Welcome back to the third hour of our Signing Day special, hour 2 of TexAgs Radio. We're live inside the Lear Insurance Studios on National Signing Day. Gabe Bach, Bryce Jones, Billy Lucci, Jordan Pugh, Steve McKinney. We've got many more to come. Most of the signees are in. Here's not who's in among those who are Aggie commits. Dwayne Thomas. Yeah, Dwayne Thomas, Hahnville High School, has not yet sent in his letter of intent, nor has Deshaun Caper-Smith, cornerback, Warren Easton High School in New Orleans. And that would take us to, if I'm not mistaken, Bryce, Kyler Murray. That's the only other one. So we're talking about 3 names who are not in at this point. Kyler Murray from Allen, and a big topic of conversation once he officially sends his letter of intent, which should be about 40 minutes from now.
Yeah, 10 o'clock, and then you're not even talking about the guys who are picking later today. So you're just talking to the committee guys. So there could be about 6 that we're still waiting on.
Absolutely. Dalen Mack among those, certainly. All right.
Yeah, and Chris Boyd did sign with, he was on the phone, came back and signed with Texas. So
Short-lived drama.
Yeah, I know. Hey, what are you going to do? You get one text message saying it's delayed, the next one you get says, hey, he signed. So what are you going to do?
Par for the course.
That one, it went the way we thought in terms of the drama and the fight for him, even after his Texas commitment. Like I said, in the last few days, he was an Aggie at least 2 times behind the scenes. It's just hard once you make that commitment to sign with someone else this late in the game. And again, like I said, a lot of influences in Chris's life pushing him to Texas. I'm rooting for the kid. I think he was genuinely torn. It's not always about, the guy goes to Texas, so you're no longer a fan. A&M, I think if there was one misplay this year on the recruiting front, they really misplayed the cornerback situation from the standpoint of they went all in with Kendall Sheffield. And a lot of that on Sheffield in his camp for completely convincing A&M that they were going to be Aggies. And he was the best, and which is why he's playing in Alabama now. They tend to go and get their pick. But the Aggies went all in with him, and they were going to wait until after he decided, feeling like they were going to get him, and it ended up costing them a little bit of the equation, too, before you pile on that and say, well, they slow played Holton Hill and Chris Boyd, who were very talented guys. John Chavis came in, too, and also looked and identified a very clear need to upgrade that spot, because we've talked about it a lot in this show, and we're about to talk about Ronnie Elam's one of the guys we haven't talked about.
And Connor Lanfear's on hold.
He's on the phone.
Okay, and they really they love those big, rangy, long corners, and maybe had Chavis been here earlier, they would have gotten moving. And now, Steve, I know you want to talk to this guy. Seth's probably mad he can't talk to him, but we've got Connor Lanfear on, offensive lineman, Hayes Consolidated outside of Austin. Connor, great to have you on, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Great to talk to y'all.
It's been a long time. I feel like I've been writing about you for a long time without ever getting to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
How excited are you today? I know this has been a long time coming for you.
Words can't describe, honestly. It's really feel like this is the best decision I've made in my life, and really looking forward to being a part of the Aggie Network and the football family. I just can't wait to get it underway and go to work.
I know, getting right into it, I know you were very close with B.J. Anderson, so that had to be a disappointment when you heard that he was no longer going to be your coach at A&M. Taking it forward, when did that disappointment shift over to excitement? When you heard about Dave Christensen, were you familiar with him at all? Or did you immediately go to start doing your research like I know a lot of the A&M fans did?
Well, I immediately researched him, the the next level, you're really going to be spending most of your time with your position coach and your strength, agility, and quickness coach. So, you got to like the guy that you're playing for. So immediately I researched him. He had some great credentials, and, he's a real technician, real experienced with the game, and I really think he's the type of guy that can, make you a great player and put you in the league, and, I'm excited to play for him. So I think we'll do just fine with him.
I'm sitting here with Jordan Pugh, former Texas A&M safety, and Steve McKinney, Texas A&M offensive lineman. Spent how many years in the NFL,
11.
Steve? 11. And he, I'll say this, you don't have a bigger fan right now than Steve McKinney. Loves everything about you. Steve, I'll let you take over a little bit here. Talk to Connor.
Connor, hey, Steve McKinney, very nice to talk to you, and congratulations on your signing.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great honor. I really appreciate it.
Let me ask you this. When you talked to the coaches, did they talk to you about what position they looked at you at? Guard, tackle, center, any position specifically that they're looking for you to come in and compete at?
No, sir. It's kind of one of those things that, the best 5 guys are going to play, but they did kind of tell me that they saw me starting off more as like a guard or right tackle somewhere in that area. Mm-hmm. I really don't feel like I'm a left tackle either. I feel like I'm the type of guy that, just wants to come off the ball, hit people in the chest in my face mask, and drive them back and, bury them. Yes, sir. That's just kind of the type of player I am. So probably guard or right tackle, but honestly, wherever I get to play the quickest, I'll be happy.
Yes, that's the right attitude to have, trust me. I just want to point out one thing. When watching this guy's tape, there's a lot of fans are not going to realize what a gem they've picked up here with Connor. I'm a big fan because I watched this film, and when you see a guy pancaking guys on pass protection plays, that's when you know you got the right guy. Because half of his highlights are him pancaking guys on drop back passes. Right. So you got a great aggressive attitude. You finish to the whistle. I love it. I'm pretty sure our defensive linemen here in practice are going to hate it.
Yes, they will.
And that's what I love about you, Connor. So best of luck to you and gig 'em.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
And Jordan, you have anything for the Mauler from Central Texas?
The Mauler. I just say keep mauling people. Well, congratulations first off. And when I look at you, when I watch you play, man, I know that you have great feet and you're really athletic. So what do you think is the best part of your game coming into college?
Honestly, I feel like the best part of my game is just my athleticism and my flexibility for as big as I am, because I'm about 6'6", about 290, 295 pounds. And, I actually have played with pretty good pad level, so I think that's probably my biggest upside.
Connor, you've been committed for a long time. I think I actually met you back at a Nike Combine when you were a sophomore. But what was it when it came down to it? What was it about A&M that really stood out to you and really kind of made the decision easy for you when you flipped from Texas to Texas A&M?
Felt like home. I mean, I kind of grew up in a smaller town, and I remember driving into College Station and seeing the stadium, and there's, horses and livestock 500 yards from Kyle Field. And I was just like, this feels like home. This place for me. This is a lot more comfortable than Austin. So
I bet there's a couple ponds around here you get some fishing in, too.
Oh, for sure. If I'm not playing football, that's where you'll find me.
Last thing for you, Connor. What do you think you have to do? We know all the attributes that you bring to the table and that you'll bring on the field in the trenches for A&M. What do you think you have to do to play early in your career to prepare yourself to come in with an opportunity to play earlier, sooner than later?
Well, I feel like it's a combination of things. First off, I have to learn the offense and really feel comfortable in it, know what I'm doing. Gain a little more weight to go up against those bigger defensive linemen in the SEC, gain size, strength, hopefully weigh about 315 or something like that, and, just improve my technique as well. So if I feel like I improve on a combination of all those three things over the summer, I could end up cracking the depth chart early on.
Well, very good. Congratulations again. We really, really appreciate the time.
I really appreciate it, too. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Connor.
There you go. Hayes Consolidated. The Mauler. Is that the new name? Steve McKinney?
Yeah, that sounds about right for this guy. He is definitely a mauler.
Yeah, well, we might need to be a little more creative than that. I mean, these last two calls, if you're not excited about it, I can't wait to watch those battles in practice.
Yeah.
With that O-line that you're talking about, and you look at the last two classes of D linemen, with the two and hopefully three they're going to get this year, against this class of O-linemen. Last year, Myles Garrett, Jarrett Johnson, Quaylen Cunningham, Zay Coven Henderson, Deshaun Washington, who no one's talking about, a red shirted. He's up to about 300 pounds now. To go along with the two JUCOs last year, Coda Martin, Tank Davis. I mean, that's where, like you said, Steve, that's where you win in college football, is in the trenches. You also do it in the front seven. Exactly. And one of the guys we have not talked about yet, a midterm already on campus, Richard Moore. Tackling machine, over 500 tackles in his high school career. It's unheard of. He had what, Bryce? Almost 200 this year?
Yeah, he had 195, yeah.
As a senior, you talk about a nose for the football and a fly-around guy. Richard Moore, who, by the way, checked in yesterday. I wrote the number wrong. I checked in yesterday at 217 pounds. People are talking about him being a small linebacker. He's 6 foot, 217 right now, maybe even a little under 6 foot. He's a thick, fast-playing, you said the word earlier when we were talking off air, downhill linebacker. A&M almost lost him to Ole Miss. But that was a huge – everyone's focusing on these guys like today. We haven't spent too much time on the guys they haven't gotten. But down the stretch, everyone was focused on the guys that were hanging out there. Another guy that you look at and you go, man, this kid is a really, really good football player. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a recent history of linebackers his size that have been outstanding players in the SEC. Even in this league of big, giant guys like Connor Landfear, you've got these small, fast linebackers that are wreaking havoc, not just in the SEC, but the SEC West, including a few of them coached by none other than John Chavis.
Right.
Jordan?
And when you look at him, you already talked about the tackling machine, but then you look at it too, 64 tackles for loss, 23 sacks, and you're a linebacker. Come on now, you look at him, man, like I told you, downhill player, that's what you want as a linebacker. You want him to hit the hole, and you want him in the backfield as much as possible. And so when you look at him, he reminds me of a guy I played with Washington Redskins, London Fletcher.
Okay.
Same kind of build, around the 6 foot type range.
Yeah.
But London,
great NFL player.
Downhill right now. And he reads it well. When he reads it, he goes. Real instinct, the instincts are there. So I think, man, it's a big pickup, and he's a big striker too. And so, you want your linebacker to punish people, and that's what he does.
The thing that stands out about him to me is not just his stats, but when you read the way his coach talked about what a cerebral player he is, how he understands the offenses and reacts so quickly. Guys like that can go a long ways in college and the NFL because everybody's got talent.
Yeah,
exactly. The guys that get it up top in their head and figure the things out and are really a student of the game, a guy like Dat Wynn jumps out at me because he was a good athlete, but what made him great was his reaction. The way he anticipated the play before it happened. And hopefully this is the kind of kid we're getting with him.
I'll tell you what I love about him. I'm watching while you guys are talking, and when he see how he sees it and he goes. There's no hesitation to his game, and he goes through that hole at full speed. Exactly. I mean, he when he gets from point A to point B, there's so many of them.
You talked about the mental part. There was one clip that I saw. I want to say it was a simple power play. He beat the lineman to the hole. Yeah. And, you're talking about the cerebral part. That's what you need, man. And you see him, the reason that you can play downhill and you can be that fast is because you know exactly what's happening. You can dial up the play, and you can engage after that.
Well, you guys talk about...
It's part of what A&M has lacked at the position in recent years. You mentioned instincts at linebacker.
Well, you guys talked about Dat Wynn. That's exactly what Coach McGuire described him as. And you, Jordan, as a Plano, Dallas guy, you know Coach McGuire. He doesn't blow smoke very much, and he called Richard the best linebacker he's ever coached. And that's high praise coming from a guy who's won 3 state titles now and has coached some really, really big-time players.
All right, 9:33, Sports Radio 1150 The Zone. I want to read a couple quick reactions on the Commerce National Bank inbox from the James Lockhart interview. Then we'll take a break. And you learn early in radio to play the hits, just like all of Steve's song requests, and we're going to do that. The second thing is we've kind of buried the lead a little bit just in terms of what could happen later today. One will happen in the next 30 minutes, and then one could happen in the next 2 hours. Real good shot of it. And we're talking about the 2 headliners of this class, Kyler Murray and Dalen Mack. And if Kevin Sumlin's coming on, if we're still efforting Jake Spavital, more recruits, and DeMontre Moore, I could see us getting to 11 and not spending and feeling like we haven't spent enough time on Kyler Murray. So let's talk about his impact and importance once he signs on the dotted line. Dalen Mack as well, and we got much more to talk about. 934 TexAgs Radio presented by Scott and White Healthcare. Before the break, though, here's a couple of them. James Lockhart interview, whoop. So great we got him. Love that he's so well-spoken and willing to work. Another one, really impressed with James Lockhart's attitude. It's obvious he understands what it means to be an Aggie. Another one, holy crap. Now that's what I'm talking about. I have goosebumps. Welcome to Aggie Land. Another one, James Lockhart is a badass. My favorite recruit from Chris in Lavernia, Texas. So, yeah, you guys are as fired up as we are about James Lockhart. There you go. Obviously the clean version of Nothing But a G Thing. 938 TexAgs Radio presented by Scott and White Healthcare. This is the marble cheesecake ice cream. It's hot off the presses. We may be the first people ever outside the Bluebell factory to try this, so just be looking at that at a store near you.
At 9:30 in the morning, we're having ice cream.
Why not? They brought it by. It's the Bluebell people. They were nice to us.
Yeah,
so
got a little caffeine in it. Wake us up.
We appreciate that. It's
Yeah,
also
no
Chick-fil-A Day on TexAgs Radio. And I want to remind you, you can send a bovine Valentine, all right, to the significant other in your life for one day. Friday, February 3rd, the Chick-fil-A Cow will be surprising loved ones with a special delivery that includes a box meal delivered by the Cow, one red rose, a 2015 Cow calendar, all for $29.95. Email Mallory, melms at 782@gmail.com, melms782@gmail.com, or just walk into the store, ask about the bovine delivery. They'll give you all the information you need. Gabe Bach, Bryce Jones, Billy Lucci. Let's put Lucci's mic on. There you go, Lucci, Steve McKinney, and Jordan Pugh. We've got Stuart Wade in the social media center across the way in the war room. We'll see. We might go to him at some point this hour. We've got a lot of recruits to hit on too, Billy, that we haven't yet. You want to go Kyler and Christian Kirk next, or is there other?
No,
where do you want to start?
I want to do what I said next, which
Well,
is,
we were waffling a little
I'm
bit.
thinking about sending a
Gabe
bovine. I may send you a bovine delivery, Gabe.
That'd be nice.
I'd like to see you sitting at home. You get a knock on your door from one of those cows.
I need-
Sounds like a good Valentine's, but a much better prank to play on people as well.
Thank good.
So.
Just pack him with a GoPro on his
Actually,
cow head. and we'll be in
Hunter
good
might
shape.
be the one that gets that.
I think that'd be good. That needs to be a feature on TexAgs.
Yeah, and I want to start off real quickly and go into two guys that we haven't talked about yet. We got to get to everybody. Jordan Davis, guys, the tight end. Again, A&M flipped him from Florida State almost 2 years ago. And this was prior to his junior year at Florida State. So Jimbo Fisher and the Seminoles took a tight end from Clear Lake, Texas, your high school,
Probably
Steve.
the second best tight end ever. Come out of Clear Lake.
Steve was a pretty nasty tight end. I just remember watching him run up and down the field on Willow Ridge going, "Who's this cat?"
I was more of a blocking guy.
But Jordan Davis is not yet a blocking guy. He's more of a receiving guy and a gifted one at that. But at 250 pounds and over 6'4", almost 6'5", if he's a willing blocker, which he seems like,
He needs to be.
he could be a. To me, he's a top 5 talent in the state of Texas. But he wasn't utilized that much. He didn't have a quarterback to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And they didn't really ask him to block. If he's willing to be great, his upside is top 5 caliber in the state. He's the best tight end I've seen come out of Texas since Martellus Bennett in terms of raw talent.
Well, with our offense, to be a tight end and to actually be on the field, you got to block.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be a dominant blocker, we got
You
way
would be a
too much.
receiver.
We got way too much talent at wide receiver. So you have to be a guy that can create that mismatch where they don't know if you're going to run the ball or throw the ball. So, he's got to be willing to get down and dirty and get technically sound at run blocking.
And I'm full agreement with you on that, especially with the way we run offense. We go a lot of 4 wide, but we use that H-back too. And so he'd be a good H-back, but he can create one-on-one matchups. That's where he comes in.
Yeah.
He's a good route runner, big body type guy, kind of, like a Gronk type guy
Yeah,
from New
he's
England.
big,
You know what I
big
mean?
body.
You can get him one-on-one with a safety. You can get him one-on-one with a backer. He's fast enough or quick enough to, and a good route runner to beat those guys one-on-one. He has the body to go against the safety. So.
And you're a safety, so sometimes if you've got the guy
Exactly.
covered, doesn't matter.
But then
Not
they
what
body,
you can do.
I had a lot of battles with Tony Gonzalez playing in the NFC South, him and Jimmy Graham, and the thing about, Tony wasn't the fastest guy, but man, he put that body on you, and Matt Ryan put it right there. So, that's what I see with him, man, and being able to split him out wide, and if he can get the blocking down, it would be a great matchup problem that we could force on people.
Yeah, and then the other guy we haven't talked about yet who's in, Trevor Elbert, offensive tackle, Rockwall Heath. I said earlier, guys, this cat, when you look at his early offer list, it was as good as any lineman in the country. And when he was healthy, had he played his senior year, he might have been a top 10 player in the state, might have been the number 1 O lineman in Texas. That's where I had him when he committed. And a lot of people that had nothing to do with covering A&M recruiting had him in the same spot. He's 6'6", almost 300 pounds. He's going to come in here at that. Should be healthy by the time he gets here. Again, like all these linemen, he's a likely redshirt. The guy before long will be a 6'6", 315-pound tackle. And what I like about it, he's got a little nasty streak to him as we're watching tape.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, this offensive line class has just been outstanding. I mean, you got this guy, Connor, Sutherland, McCoy. I mean, they really nailed it. I mean, they got great size. This kid's a great athlete. He's got good feet, long arms, so much to work with. Has the right attitude plays with a nasty streak. I mean, if you look at him getting up to the second level onto the linebacker, I mean, that's what you want to see out of offensive linemen, not just some big fat guy that just kind of falls off the ball. I mean, he's getting blocks and getting up to the second level. So, I mean, we're in great shape offensively on the line.
Let's move to the 2 5-stars. I mean, this might take longer than just this segment. Christian Kirk and Kyler Murray, quite possibly the 2 best in the country at their respective positions. 1 year after A&M signed, quite possibly the 2 best in the country at the same position. Let's start with Christian Kirk. He's already on campus. 197 pounds right now on that 6-foot frame. Mm-hmm. What I love about him, guys, he's like Ryan Swope a little bit in that he is built like a tailback, and he plays like a wide receiver. And you saw how Swope put that to use in this offense. And Christian Kirk has that kind of speed. He's got that. He's got next level quickness. None other than Tim Tebow himself. When he was here covering the game, Tim Tebow is really familiar with Christian Kirk. Trained with him a little bit in Arizona, and he even told me he is a special football player. This was before anyone really knew where he was going. We're just talking about him as a prospect, and the kid. You talk polish. You talked earlier about guys route running, and a fitness system, and the work ethic, and the drive to go with it. He's arguably one of the best players in Arizona high school football history, which you can say the same thing about Kyler Murray in Texas. That's when you know you're getting someone special. Arizona puts out a lot of talent. This kid holds so many records, and he did it this year playing running back, some corner, receiver. In this offense, you look at the way Jake Spavital and Dana Holgerson used Tavon Austin a few years ago. This is a guy that can be used in so many ways in this offense. Jordan, what do you see when you watch him?
I see Ryan Swope and I see Percy Harvin.
Okay.
The same kind of mix. When I initially watched it, I see Percy Harvin. Mm-hmm. He can play in the backfield, play in the slot. He has great short area quickness. Great acceleration too. When he hits that hole, he's gone. Yep. He can return kicks, punts, all that. But I think the biggest thing about him is the toughness. So when you compare like Swope, for example, Swope had the toughness to go across the middle, make those tough catches. You see that with him. Then you take the toughness and you combine that with the speed. Man, you look at, we have Ratley, we got Kirk, Speedy Noel. Our receiving core is going to be something serious now. If you really break this thing down, you can use Speedy in the same type of mode you use Kirk in. So you can put one outside, one inside. You have Ratley as a true number 1. You have Reynolds that came on last year. Man,
Ricky Seals, who's going to be.
And it's like athletes everywhere. And so, the biggest question to me is how you going to spread the ball around. Because you have nothing but athletes. You look at the 2 running backs.
You want to recommit to the running game,
So it's like, it's a good problem to have. And the thing about it, I think he's an instant impact. I don't know where that'll be yet. Maybe in the return game, maybe in the slot, maybe used as a receiver. A running back. I don't know yet, but you got to put him on the field.
693-1150 on the phone, 693-1150. You can send your text, Commerce National Bank inbox to 979-229-1939. It'll be the Kyler Murray show for a little while at 10 o'clock once he makes it official at Allen High School. Our Olin Buchanan is there. We're hoping to get Kevin Sumlin in the 10 o'clock hour. We're hoping to get Jake Spavital, A&M quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, in the 10 o'clock hour. DeMontre Moore will be in studio as well, and what an interesting recruitment he had. From total obscurity to Aggie hero in 2012, an early entry NFL draft pick of the New York Giants. And this just in, Jordan Pugh's boy, Dwayne Thomas. We're talking a hidden gem for Jordan. I know he wants to talk about him. Dwayne Thomas is in Hahnville High School, Boone, Louisiana, 6'2", 210-pound, first-team All-Stater. And we'll get a little reaction to that when we come back. Oh, Michael Jackson, that'd be my choice. Jordan Pugh, Billy Lucci still haven't gotten their songs in. 9:51, we're taking requests and we're talking recruiting on TexAgs Radio, presented by Scott and White Healthcare. We're inside the Lear Insurance Studios, and our phone number is 693-1150. You can text in at 229-1939. A reminder, if you're a little bit groggy this morning, I don't know why you would be with all the natural excitement, but stop by Chick-fil-A and get you Thrive Farmer Direct coffee, get geared up and ready to roll throughout the rest of this day. It's going to be fun. The Kevin Sumlin press conference live on the Zone at 3 o'clock. The Bellucci Hour live at noon, trying to get some coaches on there to break down this 2015 signing class. Billy Lucci, Bryce Jones at the Tap, Harvey Road, and right here on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone, noon to 1 today for our signing day special. Bryce, a quick thought, and we'll throw it over to the guys for a couple minutes. Dwayne Thomas is now in, the linebacker from Hahnville High School in Louisiana.
Yeah, kind of the hidden gem of this class. I know Luch wrote about it. Maybe this year's Donovan Wilson, a guy who can come in and play. And you watch his film, and he's just active. He's active. He's all over the place. He plays with a lot of energy. He's trying to hit people. He's out there headhunting most of the time. And you really like that out of a linebacker. I think A&M's got a steal with this kid, flipping him from Louisiana Lafayette.
Luch, you want to take it from here? Dwayne Thomas now in, and just a few guys left that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, we're getting caught up here. And Dwayne Thomas, you're watching him right now, and I know Jordan and Steve are huge fans of him, and so are the A&M coaching staff. This was even prior to John Chavis that the Aggies were keeping him real quiet. I kept hinting about a Louisiana linebacker that might be in there, and they were really excited about kind of keeping him under the radar and hopefully stealing him. And he started to blow up. Texas Tech came in on him, somebody else, and then Oklahoma offered him after the A&M commit, and he said thanks but no thanks. But I think you see a fluid, fast, raw, exceptional athlete. And I'm going to let you guys talk while I watch these highlights. We'll start with Mr. Defense over here in Jordan.
Man, you talk about the wrecking crew defense. This is the type of guy that you need. You would see the old clips and people picking up helmets, throwing, kicking people. That's the type of guy. He's nasty. I think he's one of my favorite recruits we got, probably my favorite linebacker. You see him, helmets fly off when he hits you. And when he hits you, you go backwards. That's what you want. No extra yardage at all from the linebacker spot, man. And, I think he's somebody that you got to get on the field some way, somehow, in some form or fashion. You got to get that attitude on the field because he's going to give you an attitude. He's going to give you emotion. And that's what you play with on defense. And you just see the film. This film speaks for itself. It's just all over the place, slinging guys, throwing guys.
He does sling them, man.
It's crazy. So.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched this guy's highlights and immediately fell in love with him. I mean, he's got to be the most underrated recruit that we've signed this year.
He's flipped from, I think, Louisiana Monroe to Louisiana Lafayette, or La Tech to Lafayette.
So I knew that, and I watched the film with that in mind, not expecting to see a whole lot. And as soon as I turned it on, I'm like, wow.
Yes. I was the same way.
I cannot believe people don't know about this guy. Why are more teams not offering him? But I think we got a great commit here, or a great signee, and he's going to be fun to watch over the next
I've got a recruiting strategy if I'm A&M. Every year, last year was Donovan Wilson. Every year, I would save one spot on defense, and I would go into Louisiana late, and I would examine these guys that are either uncommitted or committed to whatever you would deem a lesser caliber program than A&M. Okay, I don't care if that means someone between, the 20 to 50 range in college football, or whether it means a directional Louisiana school. I would save one spot every year and go into Louisiana, guys, and find me the best raw athlete on defense that we can go in and take. And if you do that every year, you got about 4 of those guys in your program at all times, 4 or 5. At least a couple of them are going to hit, and you might have 2 difference makers on the field on your defense at all times just from that strategy. People forget, some of those guys that went to LSU and were star defensive players, weren't huge name recruits. Morris Claiborne, A&M was going to get him had LSU not gone on him, and there weren't many A&M fans excited about it. There were other bigger name DBs in Texas at the time. Another one, a guy by the name of the Honey Badger. They're everywhere in that state, and A&M's got themselves one, Thomas.
I would just tell people that were disappointed that we didn't get Malik Jefferson to go watch both of their highlight films back to back, and you won't feel as bad about it. Trust me.
And the final guy that we haven't talked about that's signed right now, and then what we have are the unsigned guys. Ronnie Elam. When I see him, I think John Chavis corner.
Yes.
And ironically enough, in addition to Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, A&M beat LSU in a big head-to-head with John Chavis running that LSU defense at the time. John Chavis said, "That's my guy.
Right.
That's the guy I want from Texas. He's going to get to coach him." Talk to us about Elam real quickly. We're probably going to have to come back to him. Yeah, I hear the music playing, Gabe.
Yeah,
we're gonna come back with Ronnie Elam, and it's probably going to be the Kyler Murray hour, and we'll talk about it'll be Roquan Smith, Kyler Murray, and we'll probably close it out talking a lot of Dalen Mack.
All right, hope you've enjoyed the program so far. Hour 3 of our signing day special on TexAgs.com in the books. We've got another hour. Hour 2 of TexAgs Radio now officially complete, and much more still to come. Just 2 open guys. We're talking Aggie commits who've not yet sent in their facts or sent in their official forms to Texas A&M to become signees, and that's Kyler Murray of Allen High School and the cornerback Deshaun Caper-Smith, and we are awaiting both of those, and a couple more decisions still to come. Foremost of those, Dalen Mack. That's after our program before the Bellucci Hour. And coming up, probably during the break, Roquan Smith out of Georgia will officially announce his decision. He's a top-flight linebacker out of the state of Georgia. So much more to come. Gabe Bach, Bryce Jones, Billy Lucci, Jordan Pugh, Steve McKinney in the third hour. Hopefully an Aggie coach. Hopefully a lot of Kyler Murray talk. And DeMontre Moore in studio as well. More Hour 3 TexAgs Radio coming up next right here on